I was sitting around one day and got a text from someone that I know who runs a gym in my local area. Since I used to train people and create nutrition plans for them, he asked me if I'd be interested in creating and running a summer training camp. For those of you who don't know, I used to do this sort of thing in my past life, so I had the knowledge and the equipment to make this sort of thing happen. Now, since this isn't something that I do any longer, I had to say, sorry dude, gotta decline your offer. Which I felt weird saying no because he offered me pretty good money, but it's not something that I do any longer. That was when the light bulb went off in my head. If I have this stuff just sitting around, then why not try to make some money off of it since I don't use it all the time? I've got a garage gym with a ton of equipment that I'd used in the past to train people, so I told him that if he needed anything, then I'd be more than happy to rent it out to him. Long story short, I gave him the equipment and in return, he paid me a weekly fee. The vast majority of us, well minus me because I'm a minimalist, have things just kind of lying around that don't get used very often or in some cases, don't get used at all. Instead of letting your stuff just sit there, let's try to get it to start generating you some money on a regular basis. In this video, I'm gonna go through a few different online websites that'll help you make some money renting out your things. This is a nice little side hustle to help you make some money on the side for doing little to no work with items that you already own. It's the perfect way to help someone pursuing financial independence retire early, make some extra money on the side so they can achieve FIRE a lot quicker. I'm gonna throw a wild card one on this list that is very interesting. Even if you are not interested in renting out your things, you could think about using one of these services to rent things for yourself in the future. Hey, I'm Jarrad with an A, and on this channel, we like to talk about all things personal finance and investing and financial independence and all that fun stuff. The first way to make money renting out your things is by renting out your car when you're not using it. Turo and GetAround are the two major platforms that match someone who wants to rent out their car with someone who wants to rent a car. The rates vary based on the type of car you have and which platform you use, so you'll have to look into how much you can make from both platforms. I could see this working for two-car households, someone who doesn't need their car all the time, or for someone who plans on going out of town and flying and is willing to rent out their car while they're on the road. Two big differences between Turo and GetAround is that GetAround will connect a little device to your car so that a renter can just unlock your car through an app that they download on their phone. With Turo, you have to physically meet the renter so you can check their ID and hand over the keys. I've even heard of people turning this into a little business. I think that I recall someone talking about how they leased a bunch of, I don't know, cars, vans, or trucks, and then renting them out specifically through Turo. And I thought that was a pretty good idea. I can't tell you how the numbers work out, so if you want to do this, please run the numbers before you start going out and leasing a bunch of cars. Next, we have SpinLister. Now, this one is geared more towards renting out outdoors gear. They specialize in surfboards, bikes, and snow gear like skis or snowboards. My buddy and his wife have two bikes that they don't use all the time, so they've actually used SpinLister to list these bikes on there and rent those out a few times. Keep in mind, they don't have super fancy bikes, and they rented those suckers out for about $30 per day. If you live in a major city with a lot going on, then I could see this making you some nice cash on the side. We're all familiar with renting out a house on Airbnb, but what about not only renting out your own house, but renting out a room in your house? Another website that I found for this is called homestay.com. With them, the host has to be present while the person is renting the room. In the past, I always found it weird that someone would rent out their house while they were still there until I was a guest in someone's house through Airbnb. Last year, I rented a room from someone when I was traveling for a Spartan race in Virginia and actually had a really good experience. Think about it like this. If you've ever had a roommate, then it's kind of like that, except better because they don't ever say they're welcome, and when you get annoyed with them, you can finally be like, okay, get the heck out of here, and they're paying you. Honestly, people are just looking for somewhere to stay, so you don't have to have an outrageously nice house for someone to book with you. I've even heard of people setting up little campsites in their backyard and renting those out. Some people are just looking for a place to stay, and others are kind of looking for a little experience. The whole pitch a tent around a fire pit is a really good idea. If you're creative, then think about the experience you can create in your current living space that would kind of make people want to stay there. I don't necessarily live in a very popular destination, and I'm a minimalist, so I already don't have much in my house anyways, but if I was going to get creative and rent out a room, then I would market it as something like an ultimate minimalist experience. Feel free to steal that idea if you want. If you're a female or have a woman in your life that has a bunch of clothes, which I know most of you do, I have two sisters, and I know you do, then you might be interested in renting your clothes out through StyleLend. Ladies, I love ya, but most of you like to accumulate clothes. I know there's guys out there that do the same thing, but this one is geared more towards women. If I find a website for dudes, I'll put it up right here. With this platform, you can rent things out from dresses to shoes to bags to all kinds of accessories as well. After this video, I'm gonna go create an account for my future girlfriend or wife so we can profit on her wardrobe. Yes, I'm open to dating a non-minimalist, just so you know. The process is super easy. When someone rents something, all you do is ship it out to them and collect that 80% of the price that you charge. If you have any camera gear lying around, then check out a website called Kit Split. I like this one because they make it easy for you to either meet the renter in person or ship the gear directly to them. I kind of wish that I knew about this before I sold a camera that I had lying around a few months ago, because I could have been generating consistent revenue on that camera by renting it out on a regular basis. If you want to try out a more general website where you can list any items you have, then a few good ones that I found are Rent Not Buy, Zlock or Zylock, however you pronounce that, and Loanables. I'm going to need some power tools soon, and I don't want to buy those things, so I'm going to check out one of these websites to see if I can find anything good on them. The minimalist in me does not want to have to buy a power tool, use it once, and have it sit around. Now it's time for the wild card. It is Airbnb Experiences. With this one, you're not necessarily renting anything physical out to people, you're renting out your knowledge and creativity. Airbnb has started promoting experiences to people who rent with them. So when someone books with Airbnb, they show them a bunch of different experiences that they can do once they get into town. This service is focused on entertaining people who are in from out of town that are kind of looking for something fun or possibly unique to do. Think about it like this. If a friend of yours was coming into town and they asked you for some things to do, then what would you recommend they do? Got it in your head? Now take that idea and offer it as an experience to people. You're essentially leading people on activities that you enjoy doing or know a lot about in your local or surrounding city. The nice thing about this is that your customer is already going to be in town since they're renting a place from Airbnb anyways. I would suggest signing up to host an experience and checking out what other people are doing in other cities to give yourself some ideas. Make sure to Hulk smash that thumbs up button and check out the description for more resources and playlists to help you out with all of your personal finance and investing needs. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Adios.